Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an ad hoc episode of Learn with Jason. I needed to get something done, and I've been procrastinating, so here we are on live stream to hold me accountable. What's up, Jordan? What's up, Eposama? Good to see y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Um, so yeah, let's talk about what we're doing. We have been working on kind of off and on a new version of the Netlify swag store. So if we look at, let's see, what do I want to look at? Let's look at Figma first. All right. So somewhere in here, Chris Biscorgi, Chris Biscotti. Oh shit, I got bounced out of the. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, everybody, hold on for a second while I log out of Figma in this view. Let's see, what else can we look at? Let's look at the deploy preview 15, because that's the one we need. So this is the work in progress swag store, and then I also made this thing on my profile. Let's see, where is it? No, not those. Nope. Here. Pens. Public. Here we go. So we made this one that is a like kind of a fun footer for the site based on some ridiculous things that Rafa and I wanted to do. Yeah, that's basically how my Figma really is, just like a nightmare in here. Just me trolling people. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, this is a thing that we want to do where we want all the contributors for the swag store to be. We're pulling GitHub avatars, because look at this. I learned this cool thing. If you take someone's GitHub username here, so their username, and then you add .png and a size to the end, you get their avatar. So we can really easily pull people's usernames if they contribute to this repo. So I built this to so that we could like highlight people who contribute to the swag store. So I'm really excited about this. This is really fun. Rafa had this cool idea to kind of make this look like the Looney Tunes. That's all, folks, which I think is really fun. What's up, Nikki? What's up, the Flying Dev? Good to see y'all. Ooh, yeah, that chicken and mushroom sauce I made last night. Let me just show this. So this, yeah, Marissa and I have been coping with stress by cooking things. So let's see. Yeah, look, she made these apple muffins yesterday that were dope. They were so good. I'm gonna eat the rest of them today. And then we made chicken. So this is like lightly breaded chicken cooked in a cast iron skillet. And then we cooked down some mushrooms in the butter, oil, and chicken fat left over after frying the chicken. We cooked the mushrooms in that and then added cream and Madeira. And it turns into this really nice sauce. And then we had a bunch of potatoes, so I just like chopped them up and fried them real quick. So made like homemade French fries. I'm gonna say they were like okay. They weren't great fries. They're not sweet potatoes. No, that's what's weird. Like these are regular potatoes, but the way that I fried them, they went weird and like changed color. So I don't know what I did. They like I said, they didn't taste bad, but these were not my most they were not my best effort, I don't think. Anyways, as you can see, as my stress levels ramp up, I've been drawing pictures and like making food. So this is what my life is like lately. So yeah, that's quarantine stress management 101. Yeah, Nikki, if you got a recipe for Belgian fries, that would be significantly better, because I am not doing a great job with my fries. I made like I don't know if home fries is a thing outside of the U.S., but like in the U.S. at diners, they chop the potatoes up into like little pieces and then fry them with like peppers and onions and stuff like that, and you get this really kind of good morning hash, right? So I made that. That worked out pretty well. French fries, this is the first time I've tried it. I like hand cut those potatoes, and so the sizes weren't quite even, and I think that that showed in the final product. Lots of issues. So, anyways, back to code. What am I talking about? Right, contributors. So we've got this thing, and we want this to show up at the footer on every page. And then Rafa had this really funny idea to make the credits for the site. So like instead of showing a footer with just a list of links, he wants to do movie credits. So I think that's really funny. We're going to do that. And all of that needs to go in here. But that's not what I want to work on today. So what I want to work on today is actually the shopping cart. And so let me get into, let me see if I can get into Figma. We just switched over to like a what's it called? A single sign-on, like a SAML kind of solution. So I have to make sure. Cool. Yeah, I can't. Let's see. SAML. Jason. My Netlify account. Reset password. Okay, I might not be able to pull up the logo today. I think I gotta click a link. So I'm just gonna power forward. So here's what I want to do today. Here's my goal. We need to have a client-side powered cart. So when you add a product from the store into your shopping cart, you're able to. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk about the bot for a second, then I swear I'm going to focus up. The bot right now, we have multiple bots running. So there is a Streamlabs bot, which does things like the subscriptions and follow notifications. There is the Blitz Jackson the robot, who's actually running from two software pieces. So there's like Blitz Jackson the robot, which has our regular commands, like our text commands. So that works here. And then there's the new Streamblitz bot, which Streamblitz is what is handling like these, for example. Takes a minute to warm up, actually, I think. You just got blitzed. Yeah, there it is. So these are running, and I haven't updated the sound effects command. So what I did figure out though is that Streamblitz can operate as an API, so that I can list all of the commands. But for the moment, for better or worse, this is all handled on GitHub at the learnwithjason.dev, and in the site functions, these are the new commands, right? And so if you want to use one of these, you can just go in and look at it, and this is the command that you would fire. So if we want to show me potato salad, there it is. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of new ones. I'll throw this in here if y'all want to play with it. But yeah, and there's still some bugs to work out, but Streamblitz is coming along. It's like becoming a thing. I'll probably figure out a time to come in and do actual work on that on stream to play with it and show it off a little bit. But it's been unstable enough that I've been changing my mind so often that I'm not sure if it was really ready to show before here. So, okay, so talking about the cart. All right, I gotta run focus up on myself. Like this is not, there we go. Okay, doing it. Did I break focus up? Broke focus up. That's unfortunate. Okay, or wait, is it just focus? Did I forget all these commands? This is really too bad.
Should we focus up? Should we
we
write
there
some
it is.
code?
It's on Streamlabs. That's where it is. Yeah, so I need to bring some of those across. So, all right. Focusing. So what I want to do is I want it to be so that when someone comes to the site, they can add items to their cart, right? Pretty standard e-commerce functionality. And when they've added something to their cart, I want us to keep track of quantities, so they need to be able to add and remove quantities. And we also want like the ability to open and close the cart. So I think what we're going to do is kind of a side position cart that'll pop open, so you can see your cart in place wherever you are on the site. So in order to do that, we need to we need to figure out how that logic is going to work. And I've been a big fan of state machines lately, so I'm going to attempt to write a state machine to do it. So to do that, we're going to go to xstate. I forget what the website is, so we're just going to go here. And I want to use both the docs and the visualizer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my cart. So we'll call this a cart machine. And then by default, it's not going to be doing anything. So we're going to call that idle. And we're going to have, we'll say products, or I guess items. And that'll just be an empty array. And then down here, I'm going to start with just the names of the states. So let's go into just this. And if I update this, we can see that we've got an idle state. So right now our cart doesn't do anything. There's no, it has a storage place for the current items in the cart, but it doesn't ever get out of the idle state. So the next state that we would need is like we want to have an open state. And I think maybe what we can do is instead of idle, we'll just call it closed, right? Because closed would be like the cart's not doing anything. It's just off to the side. Oh, what's up, Chris? Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. So if I update that, now we've got closed. And closed, we want to go to open. Now, why doesn't it? Yeah, there it is. So if I want to be able to get to open, we would need a way to open it. And if we wanted to do a transition or whatever, we need an interim state that we'll call opening. Right? So then, what? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't do nothing. All right, so when it's closed, we're just going to listen for commands. So on instant corgi stampede shouldn't have been fixed. Did the count even come up? Did I break it? Well, I guess we'll find out. Blitz Jackson the roll. Oh, there it is. Corgi counter seems to be broken though, so that's no fun. I wonder if it's off screen. Hold on, maybe I broke it. No, that's the right size, isn't it? Oh, you think you're way too wide. So if we make this like, don't be like that. It's fine. Everything's good. What's going on? All right, let's go here. All right, are y'all even seeing this? Is this just like weird stuff
Should we
happening?
focus up? Should we?
I'm trying to focus up. Look, I was trying to focus up, and then I realized that y'all made me break things, and now, crap. Hold on, just troubleshooting away. Let's go over here, make this like 980. Nope, that's not it. I'm just gonna keep. Is this like flashing on screen? Yeah, that's terrible. Just don't mind me. Live debugging. We're doing it live. There we go. All right, so that should be fixed now. The count should actually work. So let's try it actually. Yeah, I definitely broke the redemption thing. There we go. I hard coded a value and totally forgot to unhard code it. So yeah, all right. So on we would say on open, we want to transition to opening. Right? And then if I update that, now we have the ability to actually open the cart. And then on opening, we want to do something automatic. So we're basically going to do we want to invoke like an animation, and then when that animation finishes, it would move us to the open state. So let's do this. We can create like a service in here. Actually, you know what? I don't really like the idea of services, because what happens is you start having all these names and they get kind of hard to follow. So if I create one called like Opencart Animation, and this is going to be an async function that we'll say nothing. And what it needs to do is trigger an animation. And then once it's done, it's going to return true, right? And so what we'll do is we will have this invoke. So basically, as soon as it starts, we're going to have it invoke. Or wait, how does this? It's invoke. So the source is Opencart Animation. I think this is, I'm doing this from memory. I might have to look this up. And then on done, we go to open. And on error, we'll just go back to closed. Malformed arrow function parameter list. Malformed error function parameter. What the hell does that mean? Anybody see my error here? What am I doing wrong? Oh, duh. Thank you. That was the right thing. Okay. So check this out. So now, because this returns true, when I open, it's going to move to the open state. And like I can slow this down a little bit if I want. So instead of doing async, let's return a new promise. And we will get resolve and reject out of here. And then what I can do is set, you're really making that look gross, aren't you? No? I'm going to break this down here, I think. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to set a timeout, and we will say the function we want to run is we're going to resolve true, and we will do that after 1 second. 1 second. And yeah, that should be good. So let's update. Okay, so now if I open, it goes to opening, and then it transitions to open. Okay, cool. So we've got a, basically that's a 1 second animation that would take us to the next thing. So Bepo-sama, this is something that I learned from David Khorshid, David K. Piano on Twitter. You don't have, like, you can't have states that are different at different times. It's two different states. So an animation is its own state. That animation needs to complete. And then the open state is like an idle sitting in one place. And the reason that we want to do that is because if the animation happened while open was true, then all the buttons would be interactive, which would mean that people could like try to click things, or someone could accidentally, if the cart moved under their mouse as they were trying to click, and they clicked like the delete button, they could take something out of their cart. So opening keeps everything inactive, and then open will trigger everything to be able, like, you know what I mean? Like opening is when we know that things are happening, and open is when we know things can be done. Well, so Nikki, it's like the animation is one thing, right? So it's an interim state where one thing is happening. And I mean, in terms of the actual line, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of it's sort of an academic distinction, but like, if you think about it less in terms of like academic correctness and more in terms of truth, right? Like, when the cart is opening, I don't want other things to happen. When the cart is open, I want other things to be possible. So if we have those, both things are true, then we would want, like, we need to think about it as like two separate states. Chris, I have no idea. I have no idea if state machines support concurrency. I assume there's support for parallel state machines. I don't know what that means. So I don't really get like exactly how all of that stuff works or what that means. So theoretically, but that's probably a better question for David Khorshid. Okay, so Raya, that's a good question. The xstate is a a library for writing finite state machines. But finite state machines are not they are not a new concept. Like these are they're a philosophical approach to things that is implemented in lots of different ways. So this is kind of a it's going to be like pretty heady, but what I like a good way to think about this is what we're basically doing here is like a program design paradigm. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that impossible states are impossible. So one of the things that'll happen when you're writing code is that if you are using like the standard way of writing code, you might find yourself doing something like if state dot is open and it's not, let's see, let's write actual code. It's not animating, then like make buttons clickable. So like what we're doing here is we're removing this need to write lots of if logic by saying like what is true in a given state. And so we can kind of determine the workflow through a cart or through any piece of logic by saying like when the cart is closed, the only thing that can happen is that it can open, right? There is no way for like a closed cart to be interacted with. You can't remove things from it. You can't click buttons. All you can do is open that cart. And so I just noticed something that we're going to have to think about, which is that the open and close state of the cart component is going to be different than the state of the items in the cart. So I actually don't think I'm going to even keep the items in. I think I'm just going to control the open and close state of the cart, because I could add an item to the cart and the cart component never needs to open or really show anything. Ozanon, that's exactly what we're doing, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to chart like what someone can do at any given state. So and the goal is that like if I showed you this is reasonably understandable. If the cart is closed and I go to open it, like let me move back. The cart is closed and I open it. I want to open the cart. It's going to go open. And then once it finishes opening, it will be open. And then if I want to close it, I can say on close, I'm going to go to closing. And the closing state is going to invoke, we'll say source close cart animation. And on done, we're going to move to closed. And we probably need an on error, but I'm going to leave that out for now because I don't have anything for it. So let's take this one and paste it, and we'll say close cart, right? And what will end up happening is now when I update this, let me get rid of this logic down here. Now I can open my cart. It goes through the animation. I close my cart. It goes through the closing animation, and then it loops back to closed. So I have two options. I can open the cart, but now that it's opening, I can't open it again, right? It's already open, so I can't do that again. And now that it's open, my only option is to close it. I can only close it. I can't open it. I can't put it into the opening state. I can only put it into the closing state. And then once the closing state is finished, it goes to closed. So this is, it's the idea here is that we are very clearly. I wish I could drag these around to make the arrows a little bit more like sensible, because it's hard to follow this flow chart where the arrows are going. But let me just get rid of this here because that'll clarify a little bit. Okay, so here's our workflow. We go closed, open action. That takes us to the opening state, which invokes this call. Then, when it's done, it moves to the open state. In the open state, we can call the close action, which then moves us to the closing state, which invokes this function. which then has the done. Once this is finished and done, then it moves us back to closed. So we move in a circle, right? We have established a workflow from point A to point B that has interim state so that we can do things like animation, and we're not going to need to add a bunch of logic in our UI carts. We're just going to be able to say, like, for if the state matches this state, then this is the component you show, or if the state matches this state, this is the thing that you show. So it's still conditionals, but it's not those complex conditionals where we're guarding against like multiple things. We're able to just put it into a linear flow. So it's a little easier to think about that way. So let's maybe just take this in and make it work, right? Because I feel like this is most of a, this is a state machine. Like we have written a state machine. So there are two major components that we've got here. The first one is actions. Like when I use this on prop, what I'm saying is that an action called open can be fired and it will take us to the next state. The other thing that we can do is we can invoke. So as soon as a state gets entered, we call a function. And so as soon as we hit the opening state, we want to invoke Opencart Animation, and then we can add on done and on error. And so let's actually add like an error state. And what we'll do with this is we'll actually just leave it at, or no, we should probably do this. We'll do an on reset. We go to closed, right? So we just bail out if something goes wrong. And what we can do now is we can set for on error, we'll go to error. And we'll do the same thing up here. On error, go to error. Okay, so if I update this, now we have an error state, and that can be reset. So if I make this fail, like if I just, let's say we wrote some bad code, and before our timeout finishes, this is going to reject. So let's update. Okay, now as soon as I open, this fails, and we go to the error state. So I want to reset. So I reset, I go back to closed. So basically what we've done is now we've just added error handling that says, like, if something goes wrong, I can go back and just say, hey, let's try again, right? And so, and like, notice how fast that was versus error handling in like ways that you've programmed before. Like, I know for me, what I would end up having to do is some kind of like a try catch block. And then in the try catch block, I'm like firing up some other component, and that other component is like trying to reach up into parent state. And so what we're doing instead is we're basically saying, like, hey, if you hit the error state, just show a reset button, and that reset button will move you back to the closed state so that we can try this whole thing again. We probably won't. I would be really surprised if we ever hit this error state, but we're going to keep it just in case. So from here, let's move in and let's actually do something with this. So let me pull this up. We're going to go into swag.netlify.com. Yep. And we'll pop this open. And I am going to see, this is the product card. Let's close everything down and let's just look at this thing. So, all right. So we've got a Gatsby site, right? Here's our Gatsby site. And in it, we are pulling in Shopify product data. So we've got Shopify product data up on, we've actually created a Shopify store, and the product here is, hey, what's up, David? Good to see you here. Yeah, no, I mean, that's like, I think I'm just going to be using like I think you did an example where you used animations to get from an open to, or a close to open and back again. And so I'm going to be trying to do that kind of on my own here. And so there's always a possibility that an animation function fails. Would be super surprising, but we're going to keep the error state in just in case. And that way at this point, there shouldn't be any way for anything to go wrong in this program that's not recoverable, because even if things fail, we have a retry button, right? So we might get caught in an infinite retry loop, but we'll never get to that point where the whole app just like barfs and you have to reload the page or something. So that's our goal here, is to make sure that we're always covered in the sense that we can like predict our UI, right? We've got a safe UI here. Oh yeah, so let me show real quick what we're trying to do. So this is the Netlify swag store.
Adult supervision here.
Well played. Yeah, so what we're trying to do is I want to add a cart component. And the cart component is going to live up here. And I want someone to be able to click that and slide out a cart tray that'll show you what's inside the cart, and then close it to hide that again. So we probably won't get to the actual, let's see. I have until 11 today, so we probably won't get to the point of actually implementing the Shopify Buy SDK, which is where this is ultimately going. Shopify Buy SDK is also dope. So we'll do a follow-up stream on that. But this is what we're going to use for client-side cart management. And this just talks to Shopify. It allows us to store a cart. So if you put stuff in your cart and then you close the window and go away, then when you come back, then you can reload that cart, and which is like, I think it's pretty fun. It's a pretty cool way to do things. So we will get there eventually. If we go fast through this cart part, we might try to tackle a little bit of it today. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to take this xstate chart and we're going to implement this in a way that when we're closed, the cart component will be hidden. When we click open, it'll animate in the opening state. When it finishes the animation, it'll move to open. Once it's open, we will show like the cart goes here kind of placeholder, and then we'll have a close button. When you click close, it's going to move into the closing state, and that will put us back to closed. So that's kind of our goal here, right? We're trying to get into a really nice workflow where we can predict all of our states and actually design for them so that we've got all the states covered and our program can't go into a direction that wouldn't actually work. So let's make that happen. And to do that, I'm going to do something. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the docs because I need to install this, right? So I'm going to use the React state machine. So I'm going to go to the packages, and I want xstate FSM. No, React. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to yarn add xstate and xstate React. Did I need anything else? No. Okay. And inside of our cart here, we're loading our Shopify products, and then we get this layout, which is where I'm going to put the cart. And the cart is going to live in here. So I'm going to create a component for the cart. And this is where everything is going to actually happen. So let's just borrow this part because that's what we're going to use. And then we can import use machine from xstate React. Wow, that was not the thing I wanted. Xstate React. And then I want to just pull in our machine. So I'm going to co-locate it so that it's easy to reference as we are doing all of this. So I'm going to take all of this and put it into here. And then I'm going to define a cart component. And we'll leave it without any stuff just yet. So we'll just return. Let me get the fragment out of React. And we will say to do build a cart. Okay, so I'm going to export that. And then in our layout up in the header, I'm going to import cart. All right, and now if I start this, then we got Netlify dev running. It's starting Gatsby. We got, that's a deprecation. I'm not going to think about that just now. Realize I've had this cup of coffee in front of me for like an hour now and I haven't drank any of it. So I switched over to the like thermos mug, right? And now my coffee is too hot until afternoon, whereas before my coffee would be like too cold before I even got to my desk. You like that? Is that ASMR if I like slurp my coffee right next to the mic? I'm so sorry. That's got to be horrible. Yeah, I got this at the what was it? The GraphQL Summit. They're cool. I somehow ended up with like 4 of them. So, all right, we've got use machine, assigned to value but never used. Machine is not defined. Okay, so I need to get machine, and that comes out of xstate. And that's in cart. That's why I didn't see it. Machine from xstate, right? And then down here, I can get state and send out of use machine. State and send, use machine, cart machine. Okay, so I'm going to, this is going to really bork the layout, but what we'll do is we'll dump the state just so you can see what's in it. We'll prettify that. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so our state comes out with a bunch of things. But this is kind of the interesting one. So we're in the done or the closed state. So we can now do something like let's see what we can do with components here. So I'm probably going to start inline, and then we will start to move these out. So I'm going to use matches. If the state match is closed, I want to show. How do I want to do this? This feels a little bit messy, but we'll get there. Right, so we're going to take that. We're going to show if the state match is closed, it's closed, right? And then if I take each of these and we go with opening and open, closing, we will see that only closed shows up. So it's in the closed state. So then the next thing that I can do is in here, we can add a, let's add a button actually. We'll do a button on click that is going to send open. And what did I break? Oh, needs to be an arrow function. Okay, so now I broke it. It went into the error state. Oh, it went into the error state because we didn't write that function yet. So let's add the error state too, because I totally forgot that. And we'll add our button, which on click will send reset and bring us back. Right? So check that out. How cool is that? So we have now added error handling already to our cart, which is just so dope. Okay. So let's see. Put the coffee in the mug midway between. yeah, that'll work. Okay. So so the coffee that I'm drinking right now is from Kova Coffee, and it is, I think it's called, let me look it up first. Kova Coffee. I am drinking this one. It is extremely good. and extremely worth it. I would highly recommend, if you are a home coffee brewer, give it a shot. Yeah, I mean, all of Kova coffee is really good. I am particularly a fan. Like I find that my taste runs more toward the Central and South American coffees. I don't like a really acidic cup, and I find that like Kenyan coffees especially have almost like a fruity taste to them. So it's not my thing. Um, but yeah, let's keep rolling on this thing. So I need to add our Opencart Animation. So let's remove the rejection so that we actually move through our states here. So I'm going to open. Oh, need to reload, I guess. Open, opening, open. Hey! Okay, so now in our close state, I'm going to add a close button. So I'll just grab this button straight out. We'll go to open, and here we go. Close, close. And now we can go to closing and closed. Opening, opened, closing, closed. Boom. That's awesome. Okay, so now I have to remember how animation works, this is not my area of specialty at all. So I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to look at this. Where was it? There's like a tutorial, no, recipes. Somebody did this and did a really cool thing. Where was it? Xstate new animation. Custom hooks and animations. Yeah, David, if you're still here, and you remember what the oh yeah, I think it was this. Yes, this is it. So Dave Getzky made this. It's awesome. And so I actually am going to try not to just use his code. I want to actually learn how to do it. So I'm just going to figure out what library he used, and then I'm going to move over states. Okay, this is what we've kind of done. So let's get to the animation library. Where's the animation? What if I just search for the word animation? Animation completes. Green sock. All right, let's learn green sock. So what I want to do is tween, I think. All right. Rotate and move elements. Box. Okay, so it has a style of box. And then the colors get set. Okay, that's all good. And then JavaScript, we grab the box element and then apply rotations to it. Good. So that seems like what we're after. And then event callback, I think we would want. If anybody knows how to do this stuff, like definitely let me know, because I can certainly work my way through this, but it'll probably be faster. But I don't want to just like, I mean, I can just read Dave's article. So if I get too stuck, we'll just go read his article. But I'd like to kind of muddle through it on my own, just in the interest of like the struggle, right? Like I feel like the struggle is worth getting after. Here we go, on complete. That's what I want. So let's just give this a shot. Exactly, Ryu. Like the struggle is where I feel like things sink in. Because if I just write out the code that Dave wrote, I'll get the result. But my retention of it is going to be lower because I am just kind of like reading and then copying down. And so with this, I have to actually think through it. I've got a reason about like, okay, well, where would I go? Where am I going to end up here? And so that's my intention here. What is that? Is that a spaghetti maker? What's up, Will? Good to see you. See Ryan Warner Codes, Ryan C. Harris, all sorts of folks in here. Horacio, good to see you. Oh man, yeah. All right, so let's just try this. Maybe what I should do. A reverse complete. Oh, interesting. Is there like a toggle thing? Run backwards? Ooh, this is cool. Okay, so I think what I want to do probably is start with pause true. All right, let's play with one of these for a second. So I've got this box, and what I want to do is it's not going to let me edit this. Edit on CodePen. That's cool. Okay. So I don't think that's actually the one I wanted though. I feel like I just kind of want one of these standard dealies. Yeah, because that's really what I'm after. And so if we want to run it backwards, that would be the move, right? We just want that reverse method. Tween reverse, and the tween is just up here. Okay, all right, so that's what we want. So let's go back to GSAP and figure out how to install. Oops, getting started. And I want, what if I just want install instructions? Getting started. Loading is probably where I'm after. Don't really want to do that. I'd like to npm install. Let's go down to there. Do I need bonus plugins? I don't think I need that. I think I'm just going to yarn add GSAP. And I guess we'll find out if I need extra stuff later. Yarn add GSAP. Oh, copy pasta. I get it, Ryu. Okay. So let's get back in here, yarn develop, and then I'm going to come over here and we will just try. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do to start, because I don't want to get out of here. We already had this. What's going on? Oh, get out. Let's just kill all node. Try that again. You gonna cooperate this time? There you go. All right, so now I should, in theory, be able to load. Let's see what I need to do. I probably don't want just like all of it, right? So I probably want just the plugin I'm using. So I think, or do I need all of GSAP? You can include it in your project like so. If you're using server-side rendering, no. Okay, so I'm going to try just pulling in the tweening because that's really all I need. So let's go to tween and let's see if I can do that. I'm going to just import 2 from GSAP. Is that going to work? I don't know. We'll find out. And then what we can do is we can set this up here, I guess. This may not be what I want, but I'm going to put it in here to start. So we'll say 2, and we're going to just call this like cart. And we want to set the X. We're going to pull this like, or really what I want is what do I want to do? I want to like slide it in from the left. So I would need to move it off to the right. And that means that we're going to need to do something that does overflow hidden so that it doesn't break scroll bars. Later, Bepasama. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, whoa. What's React GSAP? Maybe that's what I need. Let's look. Tween timeline from, oh yeah. Yep, that seems like more of what I'm after. Tween. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Okay, so this looks way more like what we're after because now I don't have to figure out how to make it work with React. What's up, Narendev? Chris, I have used React Spring.
It would be neat if this just worked.
All right, let's look at both. So React Spring is that on top of, what's it on top of? It's on top of things. 3JS, right? All right, let's make the decision the responsible way. So let's go to Bundlephobia and let's look at React Spring. Okay, that's okay. That's a reasonable size. Let's look at React GSAP. Ooh, that's a big one. All right, so probably this all gets tree shaken out, but React Spring also looks cool. So what if I just want to transition? And I can just write, this is just CSS. That makes me feel a little more like I know what the hell's going on. And then we just tag this with, where did animated come from? Toggle between components. Use Spring, what's that? Okay, probably should read the basics. What do you think? Single Spring moves data from A to B. Okay, so if I import use Spring and animated, need the animation primitive itself and a special factory called animated. Okay. And then Chris, when this runs, does this give me a callback when it's finished? Because I'm going to need to be able to send. This is really cool. Oh, and that just works. That's also very cool. Scroll left. Yep, that's cool. It's all very cool. Lengths, angles, good, good, good. Where is my common API? I want a callback or like an on done. On start, on rest. Does that mean that's probably done, right? Later, Kurt. Thanks for stopping by. 2. Okay, spring config. Callback when a key is about to be animated, frame by frame. Okay, so I think this is what we want. This does seem a little more, it makes a little more sense to me just at first glance. Like the catch is that like I've learned to think about things in a very like reacty way. And that means that I love this. That means that when I am when I'm looking at non-reacty things, it takes me a little longer to get my head around it. That plus the fact that like GSAP just does a lot, and I don't know that I need a lot. Later, Ryan, thanks for stopping by. Given that I don't think I need a lot here, I think I am just gonna roll with React Spring. So let's uninstall GSAP. And instead, we will install React Spring, which does it have any dependencies? Nope.
And that's just not something I'm willing to do.
Come on, Sharp. React Spring. Okay. So what I want to do, I think, is I'm going to use a spring. So let's get in here. Use spring, and then I need animated. Animated from React Spring. Okay. And then down here, I'm going to get rid of this. And instead, we will say I will fade in. Sure. So we'll go props equals use spring. And I'm going to send it left. What do I want? I want to translate. No. Transform. And then I translate x to 0. Okay. I think that'll work. And I have my reasoning for this is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cart component. So let's wrap this in a fragment. And then fragment. Okay. So I'm realizing what I don't like about this. I've done something here that I don't like in React, which is where you've got all of these like conditionals in state. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to do like if state.matches. Let's do check for error first. And then in here, we'll just return this. Would you give up on me? There you go. Right, and so now this is simpler. And we can do the same thing for all of these, like if state dot matches open, then we can pull up return for open. Get rid of this one. Matches, not matched. Opening. Return. Opening. And like we could, I'm not going to do that. We're going to go closing. And then finally, we'll go with, let's see, closing, closed. Closed. And then here we can return this thing. And otherwise, we're just going to return null. Okay. And so my thinking behind this is that what I'd really like to do is, let's see. Right, that's a good question. So what about having conditionals in the state is bad, don't I like? It's mostly just that, like, what I was just saying about how sometimes I have a hard time thinking about things in a non-reacty way. I feel like it's partially because of patterns like that, where instead of using JavaScript to say, like, this is a conditional, we have kind of shoehorned our approach to writing JSX into solving those problems. So like instead of having a like a pretty standard control flow here, we're able to do like we end up doing these like kind of complex nested like JavaScript with JSX with JavaScript inside, and it's like, why not just write JavaScript and then return JSX and get the logic out into a more top level place so we can see what's going on. This is very much like a preference. And I think that that's something that, like, you know, it is not a thing that I think people should do. It's just a thing that I like to do because it helps me understand what's going on a little bit better. So now that I've got my error state down here, or my error states up here, we've got opening, open, closing, and closed. Inside of opening, the other thing that's going to be nice about this is this will make it much easier for me to extract out component-specific logic to have like an opening component that I can drop in, and all those sorts of things. Not 100% sure if I'm going to end up doing that, but we will see. So let's how do I want to make this work? Because I need to show the cart in various states. And so I can, let's see, props equals use spring. I already wrote this up here. Can't put that inside a conditional, can I? So what I'll do instead is I'm going to, when it's opening, put it inside of a fragment so that I can nest these things. Then I'm going to add a div with, do I just spread the props? Style is props. Oh, and I need to use animated. And inside we will say cart. And what does this do? Because what I also think I need to do is like translate or transform, and then translate x by, let's say, 200. And then I'm going to make the display block, make the background red, and the height will be 100 viewport height units. Let's get position absolute and set it at the top right. And what else do I need to do in here? I think that's all. I'll set the color to be white so that it's easier to read. Okay, so what does that look like when I actually... Okay, so did that do something or did I have an error? It's down. Because I haven't started the site yet. That's why. What's up, Vinny? Okay, so I screwed several things up here because that didn't do what I wanted. And we need to figure out why. So my cart machine, let's start collapsing things we're not using right now. So we're not looking at the error state. We're only looking at the opening state. And I want to change this Opencart animation because that's not actually what we're doing. So it didn't do what I wanted because it, first of all, was supposed to animate. So it's supposed to translate X to 0. And so what I'm trying to do, maybe what I should do first is take this cart item out and let's render it in closed so that we can work on it without okay, so let's close. All right, so here's our cart item. So it's not getting some of the styles that I wanted it to get, which means we need to look into here and find out why. So I told it to translate X 200 pixels. What am I doing? Translate X 200. I'm getting something wrong. Translate. I want to translate X pixels. Where's my translate X? Translate X 10 pixels. That definitely should work, right? What am I? Oh, that's okay. Yep. All right. So that is the problem. So let's translate X 200 pixels and let's also set a width of 200 pixels, which I forgot to do. And now that didn't work. What didn't work? Why? Man, I can't spell. What even happened here? What was the word I was attempting to spell when I did that? Any guesses? Because I have no idea. Okay, there's my width, but it still didn't animate in. So what I want to happen is I want for this to start out as translated. So Does it need a transition property? I kind of thought React Spring was going to handle that. Oh, wait. I think I might just have to tell it to do it in the thing. From transform translate x 200 pixels. Okay, and then I can take it off down here. Okay. So that's better. Yeah, that's fine. That's what we want. And so then yeah, it looked like Spring was smart enough to catch that. And it also looks like the spec allows 0 as an option. So now that's working. I need to set my Z index higher. Oh, whoops. Okay, good. And let's see here. So now I want this to fire a callback. Okay, so I need to do a couple things here. I'm going to take all of this out into a component. So we'll say cart wrapper, and that is going to equal, we'll say props, or no, we'll say styles, and then we can just return that straight up. And instead of style, we'll say, or props, we'll say styles. Okay. And so what I can do then, save that, and down here, we're going to show the, oh, but we do need to include that translation otherwise, because, or wait. So we're going to do it like this. I feel like I'm overcomplicating this really, really poorly. So let's do transform down here. And that's going to be a function that will, or no, we'll say hidden. If it's hidden, we will transform or translate x. No, we're going to do it like this. Translate x, then say hidden. If it's hidden, it's going to be 200 pixels. Otherwise, it's going to be 0. Yes. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, I wonder if I can extend these props to include reverse. Because what I want to do is I want to show the cart wrapper, and in this case, we're going to do styles equals give that a name that makes sense, spring styles, right? And then if it's open, we're going to use a fragment and show the cart wrapper hidden false. Oh boy. And then if we're closing, we want to do a fragment. Man, I gotta go read. Okay, I'm gonna do this and see if it works, and then I'm gonna go read Dave's article and realize how I vastly overcomplicated this. Cart wrapper. And then we want to do reverse. Man. Okay. I'm doing this the bad way, and then we're going to learn how to do it the better way. Can I just pass in reverse? Common API, there was like a reverse. Yes. Nope. Down here. Oh. So I need to take this out, move it here. Still not happy? Spring styles reversed. Cart wrapper, styles, spring styles reversed. And then finally, we're going to show the cart wrapper. Or with closed, I guess we don't even need to render it at all. So we can just, we don't really need that. We don't need the hidden thing because we can just set it to translate x0 because spring will override it. And that means that is no longer necessary. So maybe? I mean, we got closer, but that's still not right. So what doesn't it like here? Is it because of this? Like, what if I just, oh, whoops, that doesn't work. Take that out. It's not animating. And it's not animating because, why? Spring styles reversed. Maybe it was just broken. No. Okay. I mean, so we have like in the most general sense, this does do what we want, but it's not finished here. So why doesn't this? Thanks, CodeNut. I think I fixed, yeah, that part's fixed. So, I mean, it would be unmounting and remounting, but that's okay because that's how, like, that's how it works. And like, if we put it, because if we put it directly in, it does the thing. So like, if I take this and I put it in closed, see? So why does it work here, but not there? Like, what's happening differently? Because I want this to happen in the opening. Yeah, they're the same thing. Cart wrapper, style, spring styles, in opening, but it doesn't do it. It does it in closed. So if I put this here, okay. And we know that it is, I mean, let's pass in the state. I think that's what it is. So if I pass this in, we can show what state we're in. Screwed that up, didn't I? back to the docs. Let's go here. And we're going to look at React. State value. Closed. Opening. Okay, so why? Oh, that is odd. It's very odd. Okay, let's look at Dave's article here, which is nope. 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 Oh, crap, did I close it? Okay, so let me make sure. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Jordan. So let's look at Green Sock. So he's using a ref. Okay. He's using a callback. Maybe I need to look at a React Spring demo. Examples. I don't really want any of that though. I just want like that's what I want. Show me the code. So the pages all right, so that's pretty much what we're after. So we're looking for, maybe we need a transition instead of a spring. That kind of seems like what we're after, huh? What, then you just stack them? Items prop key. How are you picking a thing? Index set. Use transition. Passing in the index. And then setting the current index to the index plus 1. So they get the style. Okay, I'm going to try this use transition thing. And if this doesn't work, then I will probably have to call it and then get an adult. All right, so let's use a transition. And then down here, I'm going to use transition.
All right, I think I need a adult supervision here.
I think I might. This stuff is hard for me, man. I don't know why. Like, you know how you have things that just make perfect sense? Like I can, and it's never stuff that seems logical. Like I can just read regular expressions. Like regular expressions don't scare me, but animations do not make sense. It's like, I feel like that should be the other way around, right? Like, I don't know. It's just what you practice, right? And I don't practice this. This is not a thing that I do. And so it's not a thing that I am like, it's not a thing that I'm learning. So I need to, okay, so I need a from, enter, and leave. Okay, so enter. And leave. And that's just going to be this. Actually, that's going to be the same thing. So let's. Okay. Put these in the right order. So it goes from 200 pixels off screen. Enter brings it to where it should be. Leave takes it back off screen. Okay. And then, well, now you tell me, Chris. Jeez. Okay, so translate X, translate X, translate X. So, okay. So I get my transitions. All right. And then with my transitions, hold on. What the hell does that mean? Use transition, items. Oh, that's not right. That's not what I want at all because it doesn't work. So I don't want to I just want to toggle a state, yo. So this is a toggle between two items, but that's not what I want. I just want to toggle between two props. I'm feeling like I should just I could probably just do this the hard way, but it's going to be the easy way. So what if I just don't use a library, right? What if what we do is instead we take how would I do this? So I would transform translate X 200 pixels. Okay. So that's my starting state. And then when I can just get rid of that entirely. Or actually, I'm going to keep the state value. So let's get rid of the styles. And state value, just copy paste this down. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ref. And my goal here is to be able to just update styles right on this thing. So we can go with a ref equals, or wait, I need to pass through the ref. Yeah. So we're going to forward the ref as well.
Oh, so we would need to add code. Is that right?
So this is going to forward ref. Drop these. Don't need those. Okay. And then our cart ref goes into cart ref. those styles out of here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is when we call these shit. So what I need to do is I need this to trigger something on the elements. How did Dave do this? Man, this just melts my brain. I had it over here somewhere. Here. So he's got the div. Open menu and close menu. Oh, and he's just passing them straight into the machine. Okay. All right. I understand how this is going to work. So we're going to take these, and these are going to get passed into the machine, which means that they need to be quoted, I guess. So we're going to use machine, and then we pass in services, and that's going to be open cart animation and close cart animation. And then I need to move these in because these need to touch the ref. Okay. All right. So what these are going to do is ref or cart ref dot current dot styles transform. No way does this work. Let's just start with the basics. Let's just log it. Okay, so that is going to start here. We're going to open the card animation. Okay. And we'll pull up the console. Reload. No service found for Opencart Animation. But I did that. Services. Okay, where's he defining his machine? Open menu, right? Open menu. Use machine. Put in the cart machine. Then you have an object. That object takes services. Object, services, open cart animation. Maybe declaration order matters. That would be odd, but I guess that's not the end of the world. That just gives me undefined, so our thing doesn't have styles. I wonder if this use callback thing is going to make a difference. Let's try. Use callback, and then the way that that was done is to use a callback. We get context and event, which he ignores. Yup. Okay. So use callback and event. What's the element? Element is useRef. Okay. So these are going to be use callback. And we'll do cartref. And I'm just going to ignore these because we're not using them. Context and event, right? He doesn't touch those at all in here. And do the same thing here. Use callback. And then we'll add the cartref. Okay. Okay, so our services at least work, but now we're not getting the styles. So I need to update the styles of this element, which means, how does he do that? Element current. So he's just grabbing the actual element and then changing stuff on it. Let's log this and see what happens. Like, is it a straight up DOM element? It is a straight up DOM element. Okay, so that means I can use DOM methods. So MDN style attribute. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to set transition to be transform 1 second linear. Okay. And then what I can do is in this one, I can set cartref, current, style, and then I think I just set the property. Transform, and we're going to set to translate x0. And then for the open or the close cart, we will do the same thing, except we will translate 200 pics. Oh, look at it go. We are okay. So that, I mean, that looks like just trash, but it works, right? Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna add a quick. We're gonna set this. We'll make it like 500 milliseconds, and then I can go in and replace this in all the places where we're using it. With a little bit of mess. And then down here, do the same thing. Okay, and then I'm going to ease in out. Look at that. We've got a cart and it's controlled by state machines. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then if anything goes wrong, which I'm not sure how something could go wrong here. Like what, how, is there a catch? Like could something go wrong with this current style? I guess we could be missing an element, whatever. Let's just do this. We're gonna write a try catch. And if we hit an error, we will reject with the error, right? And so that way, if I do something silly, like I typo, then what should happen is when I go to open the cart. Oh, I need to actually pull in resolve and reject here. Okay, so I go to actually pull in the cart. Oh, it won't let me do a thing that's like obviously broken. What if I do that one? Yeah, then we go to error. So now if something goes wrong, like our element doesn't exist or something, it would reset. It's not a great kind of error handling, but like it gets us where we want to go. So now we can open, close. Good, 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 good. Also, did that take us to open when we reset? There we go. Okay, so that's good. I'm just gonna copy this straight across. We'll do the same thing. All right, so now if something goes wrong, we hit an error state. I mean, the cart ref current can be checked, but that's basically what we just did with this try catch. Like if it doesn't exist, like if I set it to this currents. Wait, are you trying to give me a real error right now? Cart ref was used before it was defined. That's fair. That's fair. I can fix that. Then what? Reject is not defined. Guess I could read the error messages. Cart ref was used before it was defined, so that should fix all of it. Oh, whoa. Oh, because I broke it. So yeah, so basically if we have something wrong, like if we're trying to access something that doesn't exist, that will catch it. So then now we'll get a cart. So, all right, I think that is all that we've got time for today. I am very happy that we got to a happy ending because I was a little worried that was going to go horribly wrong. So let me, let's see, let's remove React Spring. I apparently need to have another session on how to use it. But yeah, so this is the beginning of the cart. We modeled the whole thing with xstate. So here is the visualizer. Let me log in. Oh, get out of here. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to commit this code. You should go faster. Let's go over here. I'm going to... Oh, I didn't install that thing on this profile. Okay, so let's just check. All right, we have our layout that just includes the cart component now in the header. We have... Why did the product card change? I think things changed that I wasn't aware of. So let's add what we know we changed. The package.json and the yarn lock. And then we change the layout. And the source components cart. Okay. So let's commit. And we will say feature added state machine powered cart overlay. And we can git push to the new store. How did I get logged out of everything? What the hell is going on? Let me change that. Git remote. Oh, git push. There we go. We want to push J Langsdorff, and then we want to do the feature new store. Okay. All right, that's better. That's better. So that then, if we go to git browse, we can see that that is up. If I go over to the Netlify swag site, we can see that the pull request is dependabot. We've got to fix that. Here's the commit if you want to see it, and the deploy preview is being built now. So we will have the deploy preview up soon so that we can actually see this live on here. And with that, I'm gonna shut this thing down. So thanks, y'all. I appreciate you coming on. It's been fun hanging out. Stay tuned while we raid, and definitely do keep in mind that we've got some fun stuff coming up. We have on Tuesday, Chris is coming on, and we're going to set up the ability to buy Party Corgi stickers through partycorgi.com, which if you have not been to partycorgi.com, it is wonderful. And this is something that Ryan Warner Codes has been working on because in addition to coding, Ryan Warner also designs, and Ryan Warner builds, Ryan Warner saves. So thanks, y'all. Let's go raid somebody. I think that'll be a good time. Thank you very much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the Discord.